We are seeing that climate change is having a massive impact on children, whether direct impact or direct impacts. Let me give you an example. We're seeing, and the evidence is clear, that children are impacted when they're already in the womb of their mother because of sudden heat waves. Even breast milk of mothers is impacted by sudden heat waves in terms of quality and in terms of quantity. So the first days of a child of a newborn are already difficult. We're seeing also that massive climate change shocks on communities are driving some people to withdraw their children from school. And it's a legitimate situation for them because they're in such economically dire situations that they withdraw, especially girls, from school and put them on a pathway to early marriage. And this is worrying. We are seeing massive reversals in development gains because of the pandemic, and now massive changes coming from climate change, and that is very worrying for us. So we're here at COP28 in Dubai, in the United Arab Emirates, and there's a lot of talk around adaptation, loss and damage fund, around mitigation. There's a lot of focus on mitigation. Still, at UNICEF, we think that there should be more investment in adaptation because climate change is hitting already, and we need to build climate resilient communities. So what we're doing at UNICEF across all our programs is to really build water resilient programs, climate resilient communities, climate resilient schools. It goes across sectors. It's a multi-sectoral approach, from education to health to vaccination to nutrition. And this is critical. So our appeal is yes, mitigation. Still, we need to look at adaptation and mitigation as two sides of the same coin. We are very hopeful that the COP here in Dubai will really pave the way for a very strong COP in Brazil, COP30 in 2 years. It will happen in the Amazon region that is hit by climate change. Our appeal is that children and youth are part and parcel of any discussion, debate, negotiation in a meaningful way, in a participatory way, and in an intentional way. They have been present here. We've seen massive youth and children delegations here in Dubai for COP. We need their voice to be heard, and we need them as agents participating in the drafting, in the discussions, giving their own perspective to what is happening because it's about their own future. Just so you know, for a quick figure, less than 1% of investments coming from global multilateral funds are going into youth-led innovations and creative solutions to fight climate change. We really need to look at the international community across public and private sector. Where are these funds being channeled? And we should invest in adaptation, and we should invest in those innovative solutions that the youth are driving to really accelerate change. Yes, we consider the climate change to be a child rights crisis. The climate crisis is a child rights crisis. There is a huge impact on children's rights, and we want the international community to be sensitized to it. The other thing we want is to see intentional collaboration at the intersection of the private and the public sector. We can get grant money from public sector, but to drive change at scale, scientifically led, with sustainability, we will need the private sector capital to be crowded in any big-scale solution, and to move from small projects to platforms to big-ticket items. And I think here at COP28 in Dubai, there was some momentum and magic happening. For the first time, you've seen massive presence of the private sector compared to a more predominant public sector in the past COP in Egypt. Our initiatives, UNICEF is a very large organization that is present in more than 190 countries and territories, with boots on the ground, so physical presence on the ground, and boots at the negotiation table. In terms of children impacted, I know that today youth, we have the largest cohort of youth we've ever had, and investments in children and youth are not up to speed. UNICEF is voluntarily funded by the public and the private sector. Just to give you an idea, we're a 9.3 billion organization if you exclude procurement services. Otherwise, we're a 15 billion organization. 9.3 billion, out of them, 3.1 billion come from the private sector. Most of these programs are going to move into being climate resilient. This is massive, but it's still a drop in the ocean. We need to really aggregate and crowd in private sector and public sector to support the big multilaterals to really move at scale and make a difference in some of the hardest hit areas by climate change.